Okay, so to be perfectly honest, I forgot I was going to record this video until after I did this makeup. So if you're watching the video, enjoy! I'm Nikolina Page. I am a proudly autistic performance artist, and I am sharing my journey on integrating my recent autism diagnosis and all of the unpacking that has started because woohoo! Yeah, that I guess is autistic sarcasm. I don't hear it when other people do it, but as long as it's a direct one-to-one opposite, I can sort of get it. Anyway, yeah, this is my opportunity to introduce people to the real me, the me that was suppressed and created a second personality over. So if you've met me at any other point of life, you've probably seen little visions of this person, but the rest of it was acting according to whatever behavior pattern was the mode of that in-group. So gosh, now I'm getting way ahead of myself. Here I was just trying to do another video because it's been a while since my first one, and I'm so grateful for all the positive feedback and reach outs that I've gotten from people who know someone who's autistic, or they are, or they feel like they're on the spectrum, or just anything, anything, because it's a community that definitely need to raise awareness about. I didn't know until luckily I was diagnosed, because life made no sense and was getting worse, and the deregulation was getting bad. I'm not ready to talk about that yet. But yeah, so I'm here just trying to share this journey, and already, if you can see from the other video, which is very sad, I mean, it's very also honest, my unmasking process is improving, if you can tell by the bouncing. So this in these videos, wow, sorry, I keep tickling my nose. I'm allowed to talk about what I've discovered with kinesthetic things. Also, I'm holding a bell pepper, because I'm out of apples and I'm hungry. I'm just gonna put it down. So movement, I'm embracing that movement helps regulate my brain, because I actually really don't like talking extemporaneously. Sometimes if I want to speak properly, I have to wiggle on every syllable. People wouldn't necessarily think that, because I'm an actress and I audition for things. Those are with scripts, which I can memorize syllable by syllable and then sound incredibly fluent, mimicking the micro expressions and intonational patterns, which is also why I'm good at dialects and languages. I can look at patterns. And I mean, my goal is to keep this upbeat, and I think I am. And I apologize if I've already covered these things in the previous video, but also I think every time I talk about them, I have new language, because I've been exposed to other people who are farther along their journey. I've encountered more resources, learned new words and phrases that articulate these experiences that happen inside my brain and body, because autism is a neurotype, meaning it's just the brain. There's a lot of different neurotypes. But when you start to think about it, and this is, I think, where I wanted to help people for today, or just like make it a thing, is a lot of the burden of justifying, well, I mean, this is in any kind of thing where people are different, but how do you explain? Like, to me, the reason I never knew is because it could never occur to me that somebody's brain could be so different than mine, and that what I was experiencing was actually very, very different than the norm, what was expected, because it was just how I've always known my brain to be. And the times that I had tried to get autism, knowledge about it wasn't as common when I was younger. So there are different times in life where I would try to tell doctors, I'm like, I think something's wrong with my brain. I think something's, and then be like, why? And just so invalidating, which is why it's so hard with this stuff. Because people just say, oh, suck it up, but not realizing that you're living at, your brain fires in different ways. Feels like it can fire 1,000 times a minute. I also have ADHD, which is funny because, okay, here's a good example, I think. The ADHD is pretty clear for many reasons, but also because the medication to treat it, to help me focus, is amphetamine, and the amphetamine calms me down. I'm sure for other people, amphetamines go up. Mine goes the opposite. So if you think about, you know, the different, that's a neurological difference. And how would you know that yours was going opposite to somebody else's unless somebody could reflect that to you? And then how do you explain to somebody else who's never had that level of an experience, doesn't even know it exists. Like, how do you find the words for that? And finding words is something I'm really learning that I struggle with. And by struggle with, I am in this phase still of unmasking, where I am allowing a lot of stimuli that I've never allowed to naturally go through me. So things that I seemed really normal at before, they kind of shut down in my head if I get overstimulated. That includes verbal capacity and times motor skills. So there was one time I was really hungry, but I had driven into LA and was really overstimulated by a lot of things, just sort of staying present for dear life, and then also because I hadn't had enough hydration or food, so I could feel everything. It's a very physical experience for me. My autism is very physical. And I sat in the diner with a friend, ordered burgers and a fry because I just knew I needed food, and I just stared at the burger. And I just kept staring at it. I grab a few fries and just stare at it. And only eventually did I realize how I was like, I'm so hungry, but I couldn't figure out how to get the big burger into my mouth, like through space, proprioceptively. And that was a very humbling moment. And so where am I going with that? In regular life, I'm moving around a lot more because movement helps keep my brain moving. But yes, the way I choose words, unless I'm talking on a special interest, which are things that I'm just give me comfort, because everything is about brain comfort. And so this is, I mean, maybe I'm being harsh, but I feel like none of this is actually making sense because I'm really allowing a stream of consciousness, what I definitely don't often do. Okay, so I decided I would just open to a chapter of this book. This is my favorite book right now. What I mean when I say I'm autistic, I'm puzzling a life on the autism spectrum by Annie Kotowitz, and I'll put a link to get it on Amazon below me, because it also gives me like a little bit of affiliate thing if you click it, but also because this is an amazing book and everyone should read it. I got it, or I told my whole family about it, a lot of people close to me who want to understand me. She does a really great job of finding stuff in the middle for all of us to reach together, because including neurodivergence in the world, and not just shaming us or making things hard to read, or just everything that like doesn't work. And it's not that, I mean, I think my experience of allowing my brain to do what it's supposed to do instead of me trying to shove it into the box that I did for 35 years, is just that, yes, my nervous system is like everyone else, but everything is going at 1,000. So if something doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel good. Like, it's like being in a rock concert 24/7 on a motorcycle. So like if something gets off, something doesn't feel right, something doesn't taste right, something like textures become really a big deal for me. It always has been subtly, but like if something's off, my body screams no. And your body screams no, like having like a full nervous system shutdown as if something traumatic is happening. You start to say yes to the things that actually work. So things that work for me are bouncing around. But I like flipping this to a book, this book to a page, because I can always find something that relates. And gosh, I just flipped to this page 88, Curiosity, and I already feel like I'm gonna get emotional reading it. But she says, Curiosity. Parents of autistic children often tell me that my self-reflective posts help them understand their kids better. On the other hand, this encourages me a lot. I've always been curious about my own mind, so it's been incredible to connect with others who also take an interest in it. On the other hand, it breaks my heart that so much of the information I share seems to be new to people. It was new to me too a few years ago, but it wouldn't have been so surprising if I'd spent more time learning from the few autistic people I knew. I could have asked, what things seem easy to others but feel hard to you? What things feel really good to you, even if they seem to serve no other purpose? And what things would be helpful to you if people knew you needed them? People ask me that question, and I don't know yet. If you have autistic kids or autistic friends and you've never asked them such questions, then I encourage you to do so. It may take a while for them to think of an answer. See, I told you it's scary, true. From minutes to days to years of self-discovery, it may be easier for them to answer in writing or through a communication device, both of which require practice. But feeling understood can be life-changing, so it's worth the effort. Oh my God, this book. That was just one random paragraph. And it was literally like the whole reason why I'm sharing this now is because one, it's really hard for me. I haven't talked to a lot of my friends about this. If you're seeing this, and there's still only a few videos here, I really have not shared this journey very publicly at all because words are hard now. And there's so much overwhelming in my head that sometimes innocent questions or innocent misphrased things really, I don't have time to justify, I don't have the energy to justify my diagnosis or that I am, and then the life changes that I'm making, because my quality of life is the only thing that matters. Everything is so intense, and this is just a new phase of transition. I'm 35, about to be 36. I've never had coping skills for this. I've never been prepared for this. I've only known to shame this. There's a lot of things being released all the time, and so all this to say, I don't want anyone else to, not that I don't want anyone else to have to go through this, everyone will have to go through whatever, but just, yeah, I think sharing and being more authentically myself and seeing that this is lovable, which has been the crux of my performance art, and I'm going to talk about that more next time, because I have some cool things to share, some artworks that I'm making and selling. But yeah, I just appreciate all of you for listening. This was a very scattered thing. I kept thinking of, I want to do it in chapters, but I think it's also nice to give my brain space to be here. And I also just want to show happy autism. People, in a kind way, have been telling me, oh, like, you're not your diagnosis or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And also, at least for me, and I'm only ever going to be talking about my journey, because it's all, every autism spectrum, neuro, whatever, is individual to everyone. And the way I like to think of neurotypical, that's just like the brain type that society is made for, but it is not interpretable, it's not healthy for other ones necessarily, and there's no other options. There's nothing wrong with this. I love this. I love that I know I'm autistic now, because now I understand how my body works and how my brain works, and actually do the things that make my brain and body feel good. When they feel good, they feel amazing. When they feel awful, they feel awful. But at least now I know what's going on. I can give people the right facts. And that's the interesting thing, is how much, that's my big curious, how much, like, as much as an emotional person that I am, and now that I let my nervous system be on the surface, because otherwise I'm gonna combust into panic attacks or like autistic meltdowns or nervous system reboots. So I let things cycle, and it can be uncomfortable, but yeah, I experience the world very kinesthetically. I don't actually have experienced emotions the way other people do, which is really interesting. Like, I realize this, I've probably already said this story, but anyway, I was like cooking one day, and then I was thinking some stuff, and my stomach hurt, and I was like, oh, that was sudden and no real reason. What was the thought? And I was like, oh, that was really self-critical. And I was pained. So I was like, what if I think something self-critical about somebody else? I was like, ooh. And I was like, okay, so judgment is in my stomach. If my stomach hurts, I'm probably like being judgy or something towards myself or others. Either way, I get hurt. So I was like, okay, cool. What's joy? And joy, I felt my hips release. And I was like, oh, ooh, this is nice. I like this. Because I've done a lot of yoga over the years to unconsciously try to mitigate all these symptoms of dysregulation, when it deregulates. But the root chakra and stuff, I've been doing yoga stuff for like over 10 years. And the concept of root chakra, like in this abstract way, just didn't do anything for me. And then joy, like, oh, that's what it feels like to be grounded. That's my root chakra. Okay. So how did I get to this thread? I think the thread was about communicating, physicality, and enjoying being, oh yeah, so now I finally, we got there, by letting people know that I'm autistic and trying to figure out a quick way to describe that, I give both sides permission, me and whoever I'm around, to interpret me in a way that, you know, I still will try to pick words that other people understand to the best of my ability. I've been trying for 35 years. It's still, that's something I've been trying to do without fail. So I'm not trying to be like, forget everybody else. But as far as I actually try to do things in a way that is helpful to my nervous system versus harmful, like it helps to give people this context, and then they want to embrace me. I feel embraced, then I feel lovable as I am, and I can love them as they are. And honestly, I find that people, because it's just, you know, for me, I see this as just like a hypersensitive like brain electricity and body electricity kind of thing. So when I share the things that I do to self-soothe, other people are like, dang, that feels really good. So this is all good. I think embracing the needs of autism and all sorts of neuro differences is actually going to make the world a more helpful place for the human body, and could be really good for everybody. So that sounded way more put together than at the beginning. I don't know. I will have some kind of time blindness from this and not remember a word I said. So thank you, and feel free to check out my links below of stuff, and I appreciate your support. Like, subscribe, do whatever, share. Let's raise some awareness here on Adult.